Welcome to the Select Series, our 2021 virtual customer meetings. In this segment, we're going to talk about customer service. So with me today is Ryan Bodenhausen, Regional Marketing Manager and part of the Simmental acquisition team, Matt Fisher from Missouri, and also part of the Simmental acquisition team, and Dan Bush, Area Sales Manager in Missouri and Beef Reproduction Specialist with Select Sires. Customer service has been historically a very important part of what we do at Select Sires. I guess I'll turn it over to you guys to talk about, from a customer service standpoint, how is Select Sires unique today in the AI industry. Ryan, I guess I'll start with you.
Thanks, Matt. Well, there's lots of different ways that we provide customer service, whether it's from a monthly or day-to-day service of filling tanks and selling semen, or whether it's setting up synchronization projects, or on the back end of things of helping to market those cattle. But I think the biggest thing is that we just kind of have a personal relationship and customize it to the customer to what best fits their needs.
Yeah, I would ditto that, Ryan. You know, I find myself, depending on which driveway I pull in, of what my customers' needs and desires are, or how much help they need. You know, ultimately, I think most of us sitting up here, our goals are to help our customers wean a better calf crop next year and market it and watch their future develop. And I have customers that will need everything from total genetic background, who do I breed to, what are you seeing, to those who really have it figured out and don't want that extra help. And so you have to kind of gauge what you're providing, and then I take it from, you know, some places we're installing seeders and we're doing a full schedule to those who just need someone to show up and help breed cows. And so that's one thing that you just have to kind of sort out, figure out what each person needs, what we can help do, from all the way through marketing the cattle. There's just so many options, and I find that as Select Sires beef team, we are in the minority of services out there that are offering that anymore. I mean, there used to be a few more competing in that market, and it's just simply dwindled away. And we all sit here with, as well as our fellow teammates, with true passion to try to breed better cattle and make our customers successful.
Yeah, I guess to add that a little bit more, is working with each customer. Our customers are our friends. They are owners of the Select Sires organization, but working with each person individually, identifying their goals, and working towards those goals, whether it's through, you know, helping set up synchronization programs like we mentioned, or actually, you know, doing the sire selection from a commercial herd standpoint, and again, taking that to the end product standpoint of, we've got these AI calves on the ground, what can we do to help market those calves to capture this value that we're generating? And it's a lot of it's, you know, making sure they're productive, making sure they're successful, and able to keep that operation functioning and successful, profitable operation.
I grew up in northeast Missouri on a small beef herd, and when I think about Select Sires, we had a rep when I grew up that was more than the semen delivery guy to us. He was really important from a personal standpoint, picking the genetics in our herd. He taught me how to AI as a kid, so that's really important to us. And I think as a company, it's important to develop that personal relationship with our customers. So. The biggest challenge a person that hasn't AI'd before is labor, and sometimes it's kind of daunting to go through the synchronization process. And what do you guys do, or do we have a team that can help people with those challenges?
To me, that's one of the exciting parts of it. When you have a customer who is interested and wanting to learn more, some of those you have to take a little extra time and kind of walk them through the steps of how things develop. But a thought comes to mind of a previous manager and friend of mine with Stan Locke, and the way we would attack things. And, you know, gosh, what a pleasure to get someone to invite you to come check out their operation and how can I implement this? And we would just make those farm trips, and you'd stop in there and you'd kind of walk them through how, whether it's heifers or cows, and if we're going to separate calves, and just some of the things of logistics of how do you set up the farm best to make it work. And I've got an example of a new customer to me that we did this spring. Same deal. They had heifers and young cows they wanted AI. And so we just kind of talked about timing, and they are rotational grazing, so they're trying to figure out how to have the cattle in a paddock that's close to the facilities and how to make it work. And we just sat down there and kind of plotted things out on the calendar, looked at what best was going to work, and he's like, well, I can make this work. And so I think just to take the time, walk through it step by step. It is scary if you don't have a concept and understanding of the time commitment involved. But I think when you really sit down and go through it, it gives a lot of comfort. And I think, like in this particular scenario, I'm fully invested to want to make it work. I offered to go help put seeders in and remove them and make their first experience as good as possible. And we started putting seeders in the first group. It says, this is pretty simple. We can handle this. And so the second group they did on their own. And it was very rewarding to see how things played out. But I think you just have to be willing to embrace, and sometimes a little extra effort up front can make for a very rewarding result. So.
And after they go through that over time, that'll become just part of their management practices.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's part of the rewarding part of doing that as well, is getting them through that initial process, making it sure it's a successful process, but then watching that grow. Maybe the first year they started with their heifers, but they're seeing, AI process, it's easy, it's convenient, it works very well for us, and the rewarding side of it is getting those calves on the ground, but then taking that next step and saying, okay, we're going to do a group of cows this year, to the point where eventually you get into everything is AI'd in the operation. You have the opportunity then to work on the back end side of things, like we mentioned earlier, on the marketing side of things. Continue to watch those things grow in those operations, watch them be more successful.
But sometimes seeing is believing also. They want to AI, they want to invest in it, but it is a labor issue or a management. They don't know if they can pull it off or have the right facilities. And I know sometimes we've invited neighbors to a project. They can then see that it's pretty painless and it's pretty efficient, and that we're there to help them through it. And sometimes that helps just push them over the edge to be comfortable with it.
Okay, if I'm a new customer and interested in AI and I haven't done it before, what steps do I need to take to be successful? Say if I've got a set of heifers that I want to try to AI to begin with.
The first thing I'm going to do is make a trip to that operation. Put eyes on those heifers to make sure those heifers are in the right condition. Management is at the right level. It needs to be vaccination programs. Everything is in the right arena that we need for those heifers to be successful with an AI program. From that point on, it's looking at facilities. Do you have facilities available to tackle the process? Do you have facilities to work the cattle efficiently without stressing them? And we can assist on that side too with AI barns to set up in those facilities. Also, just making recommendations of slight changes that you can make to facilities to make the flow of cattle happen much easier. The stress level on the cattle and on the people working the cattle will be much less stressful if everything's in place to make this process run smoothly.
I think we all get into those situations that are maybe a little more last minute and aren't as fun, but we can usually accommodate. But I absolutely agree. The sooner the conversation is started and we start figuring out and prepping ourselves, getting everything ready, makes it for a more exciting outcome. I guess everybody's more comfortable if we're not cramming. And another thing on the facilities, that's one thing that, like these guys mentioned, it's nice to get on the farm, see what we're working with. Sometimes it's very simple changes that can allow cattle to flow and work better. There again, a good Stan Locke quote, when we're talking about multiple trips through the chute, the last time should be the easiest. They know where they're going. As long as you're keeping things calm, it shouldn't get to be a traumatic experience for anything. And so I think there's a lot of things that we can, just walk through a facility, make some suggestions. And granted, not always are we dealing with people who like to be told that they should change their operation because it's worked for 20 years and it'll work for 20 more. But just trying to help make it as good an experience for the cattle and in most cases, the family that's involved with it. It's traditionally, I'd say most of mine are a family affair, and as long as everybody's smiling and happy when it's over, it's a lot more fruitful regardless of the overall outcome. So
As a guy told me once, that the key to a successful marriage is a good set of working pins.
Yep, that's right.
It's important to look at the facilities.
Yep.
So I mentioned earlier about a Select Sires rep when I was growing up. He was a big part of my career and in the beef industry moving forward. So why don't you guys talk about some of the things that Select Sires does to develop the next generation of ag professionals?
So a good example in Missouri, and it's a program that I went through as well, is an internship that Select Sires has with the university there, where students get the opportunity to go out and work with the sales reps in the field, get the opportunity to work with cows, see different facilities. You learn a lot going to different operations, different areas of the country, how things are managed differently, whether that's something you can take home and apply to your operation, or it's something that, and you get in a career later on in life you can apply in that situation. But we continue that process to identify those key students out there that will play a role in the beef industry, getting those students involved with Select Sires, getting involved with the AI organizations. Some of them will go on into other industries, but a lot of the skill sets they learn, a lot of the labor, management they learn during this process is very beneficial in the long term. And it's really beneficial when you see those students go back, implement an AI program on their own family operation, and get that whole process started at a home operation as well.
Internships. I mean, we do offer AI training courses across the country. Usually are updated on the website from time to time where they're hosted, and if usually it's a couple-day course to go through AI training and to learn to get trained how to artificial inseminate.
Okay, thanks guys. Select Sires has a long history with customer service and have a dedication to customer service moving forward. If you're new to AI and would like to start an AI program, we've got a great team across the country that can help you with this, so contact any of us at any time.